Hello and welcome to another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. I'm Kaiju Kim. Hope you're all doing well on this lovely afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. This show is all about having conversations with fellow kaiju nerds about things we enjoy. So it only makes sense to have as my guest tonight the host of the Kaiju Conversation podcast, who is also an aspiring filmmaker as well as a writer for Kaiju Ron magazine. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Elijah Thomas.
Hey guys, This
Hi.
is weird. I've never done one of these before, so it's all kind of like new for me.
Oh, well, welcome. I'm glad to be your first live stream appearance.
Yeah, I a lot of people who have known me, especially for a Kaiju quarantine, I've thought about wearing my outfit I did for that, which was the Godzilla 2019 mask and a
Oh, yeah.
sombrero. It's stupid. It's really stupid.
Well, I would have
Because
enjoyed that, actually.
I was on Henry Winston, Henry, the host who does It Came From a Monster Movie podcast. I was on his show to talk about the green slime, and he does video chats, and I wore that the whole recording. So, everybody else was like normal and casual, and then you've got me over here with a sombrero and a Godzilla mask.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so let's see who we've got in the chat tonight. We've got my twin, Dottie Winter. Hello. We got Kasaibo F29. Hello, my good friend. And we got Nathan from the Monster Island Film Vault. Thank you for stopping by. The little gatekeeper himself.
Yeah, that's my nickname, apparently.
And another gatekeeper in the chat tonight, Michael Hamilton.
Well, he's canceled.
He's always canceled. I think he got his very first cancellation was on Kaiju Quarantine 3, if I remember correctly.
It was.
Nathan wants you to look at the camera.
Oh, okay. You want me to look at the camera? It's over here.
Okay. All right. Just to make Nathan happy, because we want to keep our guests happy.
Right. Then again, Nathan's a little spoiled sometimes. So
he is, but we still like him.
We do
sometimes. All right.
Yeah.
So you did briefly appear on the G-Fest wrap-up stream we did in July. So you did already answer the 3 questions, but it's been a couple of months. Maybe people forgot. So if you don't mind answering the 3 questions again.
Okay.
All right. So how did you get into Godzilla? What's your favorite Godzilla film? And what is your favorite non-Godzilla kaiju film?
Okay. So I got into Godzilla when I was 4 years old. I was obsessed with Transformers. My favorite Transformer was Grimlock, the T-Rex Autobot. He was my favorite. And I watched the Transformers, the movie, the 1986 animated film, like religiously on an old VHS tape. And then one day my aunt came by with some toys from her stepson. And on the top, when I opened the crate, was 3 figures. This bird-like one, this robotic 3-headed dragon, and this robot dinosaur. When I saw the robot dinosaur, I thought, oh, it's Grimlock. And then she told me, no, it's Mechagodzilla. And then I was like, what's Mechagodzilla? And then she was like, it's from a Godzilla movie. I own it. I can let you loan it out. I can loan it out to you and you can watch it. And I said, all right, sure. So the next day she brought it by and I watched Terror of Mechagodzilla. The Bob Kahn Enterprise cut, specifically the one where all the violence, all the language, anything that could get it past the G-rated was taken out. And I fell in love. And that love has become a hobby. It then became an obsession. And we're here now. like thousands of dollars in the hole, and too much time spent reading on foreign cinema. My favorite Godzilla movie is Terror of Mechagodzilla. It's Nathan's too, but I liked it before he did,
Of course.
obviously. Yeah.
Obviously.
And then I had a hard time doing my favorite kaiju movie during G Fest, and I don't know.
You still
Um,
don't know.
I think I'm trying to remember what I said. It was either Rodan, War of the Gargantuas, or Gamera the Brave.
All very good choices.
Yeah, and there's more I could pick.
Let's just call it a three-way tie. How about
Three-way
that?
tie. Three-way tie.
All right. Ooh, we got Matt from Monstrosities in the chat. He wants to know the name of your kaiju fish in the background.
So I was debating on whether or not I wanted the fish in the camera. My friend and co-host Rex and I were on video chat last night. He was like, "You gotta have the fish. You gotta have the fish." So we're just gonna call him Gibadon. We'll call him Gibadon. Sound like an Ultraman name.
That does sound like an Ultraman name. And we got Travis from Kaiju Weekly. Hello, Travis.
Hey, Travis.
Preschool.
Wow. Preschooler. Really?
I mean, well, what are you, like 12?
Mentally, probably.
Yeah, fair enough. Alrighty, let's jump right into our conversation for tonight. So, first and foremost, let's talk about your podcast, Kaiju Conversation, which recently returned after a hiatus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, my third hiatus. It returned again.
It returned again. Yeah, I'm also a hiatus taker here, so I know what you're talking about there. So yeah, I haven't listened to every single episode, but from what I've heard of it, it's kind of similar vibe to my show. Just very chill, very laid back, just you having a conversation with your co-host. So could you tell us more about the podcast, how it got started, all that fun stuff?
Yeah. So I run Kaiju Conversation as been pre-established. Initially it was not my podcast. Um I was on a Monster Island Buddies live stream. And after the stream I would sit and chat in the chat with friends. We would chat. That was the only way we would talk. And then we all subscribed to each other, and one of them just kept saying, get on Discord, let's talk more, let's interact. And I was like, this online thing's not really my thing. I know the irony in that statement now. But from there I got on Discord, and I found out they were doing a podcast. I was like, hey, if you ever want somebody, I'm obsessed with this stuff. I'll come on if you want me to. And I came on, and I kept coming on, and then I became the co-host. And then some drama happened, and it ended up being my responsibility. And I'm obsessed and hard-headed, so I can't just say no to something. So I took the podcast on, and I've been working on it and running it since. The most recent hiatus was because I had the privilege of doing a theatrical play of Little Shop of Horrors, which was a
Ooh,
lot of fun.
that does
I
sound like fun.
actually I brought no, I didn't bring a prop, but I brought some stuff from it to talk about maybe.
Okay.
Um and then after all of the play stuff, my co-host Rex and he's my editor too. We were like, let's get back into this. And it's the reason it's chill chem, to be perfectly honest, is lives in Australia, and I love him. Like, he's a great guy. But I have to record at ungodly hours with him.
Oh my.
So like right now is like amazing because it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Normally I record at 1 in the morning. So and that's after like a 9-hour day at work.
Oof.
And so I get off work, I come to my studio and I record. And it's like I put in that energy, but by the end of it, I'm like, it's 3 in the morning.
Okay, good
Uh,
night, everybody.
good night, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, please remember to go to bed. And then we hang in the chat for another 2 hours, and then I drive home at 5 in the morning.
Oh my.
So
That's commitment right there. I
yeah,
could never.
yeah. But yeah, we chat about movies. We've interviewed a few people. Well, I have. Um, we sometimes do bonus episodes just talking about stuff. We have done roundtables. It's pretty much whatever we feel like. We're primarily just talking movies, but we've also done, other conversations too.
Awesome, awesome. That sounds like a good time, except for the whole getting up at the butt crack of dawn thing. Yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't. No.
No,
Thank you.
we record so long that I have been awake long enough to go get donuts from my favorite donut shop, and they open at 5. So every recording after I leave, I'm like, I'm just gonna drive out and get donuts and eat some donuts before I go to bed.
Oh my goodness.
So I'll buy half a dozen donuts, eat them on the way home, get home, and then crash hard for about 5 hours and get back up.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. I wish I could eat donuts like that. I can't. My metabolism won't allow it anymore. Yeah, you won't turn 25 for another 10 years, but trust me, when you hit that age, it's just gonna everything goes downhill from there. Oh mercy.
I'm not looking forward to it.
Cherish your youth. Cherish it. Alrighty. So aside from podcasting, you also have dabbled in some filmmaking, correct?
I have. I've dabbled in a little filmmaking.
Yes, you have. So I was looking up, I was looking to see like, okay, see if I can find some of his short films. I did a little digging and I found a little film called Quasar that was made in 2018. You look very
Oh
happy about
god.
that.
Oh. Oh god.
Let's talk about that. You look very excited.
Quasar. So Quasar was originally planned to be a trilogy. It only ended up being a duology. Um, I was in 8th grade. 8th grade? 8th grade. And in my English class, we had to do a dystopian project. And they were like, you can do a video, you can do a pie chart, you can do a slideshow presentation. And with my group, I was like, so we're going to do a short film. Um, I'm going to direct it, I'll write it. You guys do what I want you to do, and we'll be good. I had a week to make it. So it ended up being a Godzilla short film where this computer is controlling the human race. And one day the human race escapes because Godzilla has attacked. We don't know why. There's not a lot to it. It was like shot in like 3 days, so it's very horrible. um, and so I made it. It was horrible, and then I was like, I'm gonna George Lucas this thing. So then I fixed it. I edited it a little bit better, included better effects.
Question mark?
Better.
Better.
Um, and then I took it to G Fest. Um, had it shown there in the amateur video contest. I didn't win. But I was like, I'm gonna make the sequel. It's gonna be even better. Then I made Quasar 2, which I had a lot more time to make, and I spent more time writing the script. This time it was made with the G Fest video contest in mind, so it had to be under 6 minutes. So I used the 6-minute time frame. I wrote out a script and I shot it over about 2 weeks with a small crew of about 7 or 8 people. I did all the stop motion. Um, if I had the files, I'd show off some photos and whatnot. Um, but that one I liked. I liked that one a lot more. The idea became Godzilla was awoken because of using radioactive materials in the city, and that's why Godzilla came. And this was actually the second Godzilla. There's an older one, and the older one woke up and they fought. The older one won, mainly because I hated Shin Godzilla and I wanted a way to write him out of the story.
Okay.
Um, and then the third one was going to be Quasar 3, The Mechanical Menace. I was doing this joke. I had Quasar, A New Beginning, Quasar, Godzilla Strikes Back, and Quasar, The Mechanical Menace.
Yeah, I
All
know. I immediately noticed, like, Star Wars theme. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it was kind of a Star Wars joke. The third one, I wasn't going to put in the contest. I have the script is done. I wrote the entire script. Um, it's about 30 pages. Essentially, it would be 10 years after the sequel. Uh, they've built up a new city. Your main character is the president. I didn't really establish a government. It was just like he oversees everything. Um, they're trying to not go back to how the computer was this, uh, you know, oppressive individual, this oppressive thing that was controlling everybody. It was more like everybody's happy and things are going well. But they built a robot Godzilla to fight Godzilla in case they ever needed him. And just as they turn it on, and I did this before Godzilla versus Kong, when they turn on Mecha Godzilla, Godzilla comes to destroy Serenity, which was the name of the new city, the new whatever location. Um, and it was going to be the story of how your main cast is trying to save everybody while Mecha Godzilla and Godzilla fight.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't do it. Scheduling conflicts with all my actors led to me not being able to do it. And then I grew out of wanting to do a Godzilla fan film um, because I had done two prior. I was I was fine with both of them, but it wasn't what I wanted. And then right after I finished that script, I went to school for videography and I started shooting more short films. I was actually curious if you were gonna find one somehow because they are on YouTube. I
I
just
yeah,
haven't.
I did. I found your playlist of all your short films there. There was one called The Invisible Teacher.
You found the. Oh wow.
I
Okay.
did some digging.
Okay.
I did listen. I
You
did my
did some
homework.
digging.
Yes, don't
Wow.
mess with me.
Okay. So that's a whole nother can of worms. So while I was in school, um, the first year, I in my English class that same year, I had to do a short clip from of Mice and Men. Um, so I shot one of the scenes. My actors were not professionals, so
Yeah,
I
gotta
it's
work
not
with
the
what you have.
greatest,
You gotta work with
but
what you have.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was what I had, and I just kind of went with it. And I shot another scene, Lenny being in the brothel, I think it was that he went to. I made it a dance club. It was stupid and funny. Um, but I did that, and then later on that year, I did The Invisible Teacher, which was I had like 2 weeks free in my last class, so I wrote and shot this short film. Um, a lot of my films I kind of do based off of how I'm feeling. So I was kind of a little lonely, so I wrote and did The Invisible Teacher. Um, as this teacher who is late to class, he doesn't really try to care about his classmates. Um, and he shows up and they can't see him. And it's a short film, so it's not really deep, but throughout the day he just kind of acts like he doesn't care. Like he's having fun. He's on his phone. He's playing with people. Um, but at the end of the day, he's like, those are good kids, and he's sad that he can't find them. Like they don't see him, so he goes chasing them, and it ends up they never see him. So he just kind of is lonely and invisible. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I did that one, and then I did one called Bio Project, which was a 15-minute one-shot found footage film.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was a horror short um, that would have led into something bigger, um, but I made that up after I shot the short film. It's about three kids going to film for their biology project, and stuff happens in the woods and freaks them out. And we never get to see what it is, but there's some skeletons, and there's a some sort of weird thing and mist and a monster, and that one was pretty fun. I like doing that one. Um, that would have led to I have this idea of a sequel. Um, that's a full length film that I haven't worked on, but that's because I've been pretty busy. I have like the story outline done. It's just I haven't translated that to a script. Um, and then on there, I think I also have the incomplete version of my short film called One Call Away, um, which was uh, I was on a school trip. I went to state for mock trial, um, because I'm a pretty good actor, and they wanted me to act as one of their characters. And while I was on vacation, um, my best friend called me, and he said, "Hey, I got plans for prom." We had plans for prom, and he kind of dropped them to go with this other person, and it hurt. Um, and I got really depressed. And it was like the second night, or it was the first night we were there. I was just sitting, or no, it was the last night. It was the last night of the trip, and I couldn't go to bed. I was really upset.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was like, I got nobody to talk to. I don't know what to do. And I was like, it's 3 in the morning. Nobody's outside. So I grabbed my phone and I just started filming. I just started filming anything I could. Um, and from there, I just started cutting it on my phone, splicing it together. And then while I was doing this, script came to my head. I figured out this is going to be a story of this person who's walking home or something. They're just walking late at night. They get a phone call. It's from their friend who says, "Hey, I can't make it." So they go to the place they were supposed to meet up. He's not there. And he just kind of goes into this. He ends up going into another level of the hotel because I was filming in a hotel. And he gets lost in hallways of what I would say are depression because he feels like this is all he gets. He gets dropped every time. Um, and that's One Call Away. I finished it up at school, except for there's 4 lines of dialogue that are missing from the short. I have the script done. It's just I need to record them and put them in, and then it'll be done. Um, so I did that one. Um, and then I think those are all of my short films that I have actually done. I'm gonna have to check. Let me check real quick. I got my phone right here.
Well, that last one sounds very, very interesting. I would be very interested to see you finish that.
Yeah, it it wa- it was therapy.
Mhm.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because mental health is a very important topic to me. So I would definitely would support that. If you were to start like a GoFundMe to like make it really awesome, then I would just sort of like Here, take my money. Throw my money at you.
Yeah, it was the first time that um because when I get really depressed, I usually go and watch a movie, or I'll rearrange my action figures or something because I have plenty of stuff I can do that. Um, but this was a moment where all I had was like a change of clothes, my phone, my music, and that was it. And music doesn't help me; it makes me feel worse.
Mm,
Um, my phone, I I don't like being on my phone when I'm on vacation, when I'm doing stuff. Um, and I had a change of clothes. What am I gonna do with that? Change into them? So I was like, what can I do? And I was like, let's try to see if filmmaking, just shooting video works. And it did. Um, I shot it. I sat in the stairwell, edited it. One of my classmates eventually found me and talked to me, and I told him what the short film was. And by the time I was done, I was like, I'm ready to go. Like, I feel fine. I actually found out that I wasn't supposed to leave the hotel afterwards.
whoopsie.
I didn't tell my teachers. My teachers had a suspicion, so they asked the hotel to like check the footage. And had they found me leaving, I would have been expelled.
Ooh.
Um, But the dude who they asked told them the wrong time I went outside, so they never found out. So I never got in trouble,
There you go.
but
Hey, you can't. You're not in trouble if they don't find out. So,
exactly, and I've graduated now, so they can't do anything.
ha.
I am a free man.
Yes.
Um, there was one other one I did, and I just saw it. It's also private. Um, it was called Breakup Fest. A friend of mine in my videography class needed to do a short film for his videography class at his high school, and he had just went through a breakup. I think I know he was secretly in love with the actress that we worked with. It was it was weird. But he asked me to write the script off of his story outline, edit it, direct it, uh, and you know, do it. So I did it for him. It was him, the girl he liked. Basically, one morning they wake up. There's clearly some tension in the air, and uh, they break up over breakfast. Essentially,
Mm,
um, that one was a lot of fun because I was working with people I'd never met before, and I came in, I put on my director's cap, and I just directed people, um, knowing that there was like a secret actual love thing going on was kind of fun. It's like that stupid high school drama that's just like, wow, really?
oh
It
boy.
was funny, and there was a few times where like they had to stare at each other intently, and I was trying so hard not to laugh because like I could see there was like there was some feelings going on, there was some laughs about the crack. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Um and he's wanted to work with me again. It's just our schedules haven't lined back up. Um but I know I'll at least do one or two more short films probably. Um within the next year. So,
Awesome. That would be fantastic. Nathan, you're a man, Elijah. You don't look old enough.
wow. Coming from Nathan, that he's saying a lot there.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, going back to, your short films and you just kind of like you take an idea and you run with it. I like that about you. You do something with, the thoughts that come to your head, which is more than you can say for me. Okay. You're braver than I am because I have a couple of short films that will probably never see the light of day. But, you put your work out there for the world to see, and that takes guts, you know? Like, and what you put out there is not always going to be fantastic, and that's
Right.
okay. That's how you learn. And you can look back on it and see, like, oh, I would do this differently or whatever. And then you learn from this experience and make better films later on. Like, these films that you're talking about, they sound fantastic. I would love to watch them. So just like, again, set up a GoFundMe. I'll be like, here, take it, take all my money.
Yeah. See, I've had a few other ideas. One that didn't go past half a script being done was it was called It Came from Venus. And it was going to be this like 60-minute 50s B movie inspired alien movie. Aliens would come down to planet Earth and try to abduct people. It was I was really into the 1950s B movies when I did it, when I wrote it. I even made a poster for it. I was getting a cast set up, but with me, like full length feature stuff is kind of hard to do because I have a full time job. I'm I was doing school and a part time job. Um, I'm trying to not be antisocial. With my one friend I have. So like trying to find time to do that stuff is kind of difficult. Um, and maybe one day I can go back and revisit that. I've got the script somewhere on a Google Drive, I think. Um, but that's one that I've thought about. And then of course my sequel to Bio Project. And then I am working on a project right now um that I don't want to talk too much about because I don't want to promise something and then like maybe I get hit by a car tomorrow and it never happens. Like I don't want to promise something and not go through with it. Um but I am working on a project right now where the script it's about 75% done, and I've revised what I have. I've rewritten it a few times. I've got a crew working with me. I might have a distributor, which is kind of exciting. Um, that is more kaiju oriented. Um, that is something I'm really passionate about, and I'm excited to show with everybody because I've had to do a lot of research for this project. I've went into some really interesting corners of the internet, and I've got some contacts with some really amazing people um, that can help me with my research. And it's I'm really happy with what I've got.
Okay.
I'm excited to see what people think when it comes out, and I've got more plans for it whenever I do. It's probably my most ambitious project, and I know some people who know about it aren't happy because it was attached to something else. I was originally working to do something else with it, um, but I was on a phone call with Matt. We love Matt,
We do love Matt.
and Matt was like, don't only go 50%. Like put put all you want into it. Um and I was like, you're right. Like don't just 50% it and give somebody something okay. Make it your own and make it 100. Um and that's what I've decided to do. And I'm really happy with that because since that phone call we had, I've rewrote the entire idea behind the project, and it's an idea that's more exciting, more entertaining, and more relevant to what I initially had. Um, so even though I've had those people say you should have just went with what you had, go with the opportunity, don't don't take what you've got for granted. My mentality has been, don't settle for less than what you can do. And I feel like I can put out something that is remarkable in terms of the research I've done. And I want to create something that people can go back to and look back and say, that was really good. That was really good. So that's my current project. I can't talk about it too much, but it's it's been something that I'm really happy with, and it's probably my favorite project I've worked on yet.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see what that project is, and I think I might know who the distributor is. We talked about it on Twitter a little bit on the DMs, but
We
I
did.
won't say nothing.
We did.
All right. So speaking of putting out fantastic content, in addition to the short films that you've done, you've also written multiple articles for Kaiju Ramen magazine.
We have.
Tell us about some of those. You got
I
and almost
got
almost almost all of the issues, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so this is Kaiju Ramen, volume 1. This was done for the 1-year anniversary of the magazine. Kim's got one there too. I love that. Um I I'm trying to think of how to say this without coming off as a jerk. I have put more into Kaiju Ramen than almost anybody financially. Um I've put a lot in. I love the idea Travis and Michael have. It's great. Um, it's something that the fandom needs. It's something that the fandom can use. It's something that I adore. I love it. I love the idea of Kaiju Ramen. Everything about it is amazing. Um, So for the first issue, Travis asked me for some graphic design opinions, like, does this look good? Does that look good? On the Awaji Island article for the Godzilla zipline. I also worked on the new segment for that. Uh, I wrote a little too much, so when we chopped it up, it didn't sound the best. But
Doomzilla says here, hot take, liar. Wow, high praise and hot take. Oh boy.
um, so I did that for issue 1, and then for issue 2, I got to write. I love issue 2. Issue 2 was great.
Yeah, you wrote for issue 2. You wrote King Kong versus Godzilla Round 1: The History of Cinema's Two Biggest Icons. I told you I'd do
I
my homework.
did. You did. Which was a article that went over the history of when Godzilla and Kong interacted. Um, Officially, because like I could have brought up like The Simpsons did a parody. Um, you've got the Oscars where Godzilla 98 appeared and Kong '05 kicked him in the face. Um, I could have brought up a bunch of that stuff, but I mainly just talked about the official stuff, kind of establishing what everybody knows about King Kong versus Prometheus and King Kong versus Frankenstein, what led into King Kong versus Godzilla, King Kong versus Godzilla 2 continuation, the failed attempts of crossing over more, the Heisei Godzilla and Kong stuff planned, the legacy it brought on. Like that was one of the first major uh, crossovers between two characters from different franchises. Before then, the main ones I can think of are like comedy or like House of Frankenstein. Comedy wise, you had hang on. Abbott and Costello meet insert everything ever. um and whatnot. So King Kong versus Godzilla was a landmark achievement for stuff like that. And then later we got like Alien versus Predator, Freddy versus Jason, uh, the Avengers films, even. Um, So that was my first article. Um, it was my longest at the time, uh, but then I would go on to do in issue 3. I did uh, Wrath of the Great Majin, an introduction to Dai's Daimajin franchise, which was an overview of the 3 Daimajin films from 1966, the 2007 TV series Daimajin Canon, and then the failed Takashi Miike Daimajin film, the Ishiro Honda Daimajin film, uh, and Takashi Miike's inclusion of Daimajin in the Great Yokai War 2 Guardians. It was right before the booklet, the Arrow Video Blu-ray came out, which had a 100-page booklet, which is probably way better than what I wrote. But I thought it would be cool to like give people that introduction so they know what it is before they buy it, and then get the awesome booklet too if they got the limited edition. After that, I did. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. I
Goji.
Oh, that's right.
A history of Godzilla in animated form.
So for issue 4, I did Anigoji, which was something I didn't think I would do because I hate animation. I respect it, but like I don't like it. Animation is the one format of film that I can't get into really, minus like 3 films. So when I wrote it, it was like, this is weird because this is something I don't care about. But then I cared about it as I was writing, and it's an overview of every animated Godzilla thing officially that I could track down and find, starting with like Bambi Meets Godzilla, the anime films, Singular Point, his appearance in Shinkelion, the anime movie from Japan that featured the Gemstone Godzilla but snow version, GVG, which is having its sequel come out in about 3-4 weeks for Godzilla Day. So that was an overview of all of that, which I thought was really cool. Godzilla Land, of course. So that one was exciting. And then I did for issue 5, it was a Henshin article. So something out of my typical norm. I wrote about Takashi Miike's film Zebra Man, which is a great spoof on the Henshin genre. Came out in 2004. That was a fun article. I only wrote about the first film because I hadn't seen the sequel yet. But there is a sequel, Zebra Man 2 Attack on Zebra City, which has an awesome theme song, let me tell you. I love that theme song. I wish it was on Spotify. But maybe in the future I can write about Zebra Man 2. I know I put that in the article too, so I'd like to eventually get to that point to write the sequel article. I'm looking at you, Travis and Michael. And then from there I wrote, let's see, so that was issue 5. Issue 6, let's see how many, we're up to issue 6. Issue 7 hasn't came out yet.
Okay.
Issue 6, I wrote an article on the lost kaiju film Gogala. It's a Indian kaiju film. So that was exciting. That article actually helped me with the current film project I'm working on, kind of how to look into stuff like that. So I wrote about Gogala, kind of an overview of it, what it was. I found a theater program for it. I read through that. That one was exciting. I really enjoyed doing that one. And then for issue 7, I wrote something a little close to my heart. If you know me, you know certain countries' genre of giant monster movies I adore. And this kind of was close to that. I don't know if I can reveal it, since the article that issue hasn't come out yet. Um, but it's actually my longest article I've written that's been published for Kaiju Ramen.
Ooh,
So that one I'm excited for.
awesome. Well, I'm sure people are looking forward to reading it. And Michael, who is one of the people behind Kaiju Ron magazine, in case anyone who's watching at home doesn't know that, Michael says the Daimajin article has been my favorite. The animation article is one I was impressed with because it stretched you out of your comfort zone.
That it did. That it very much did.
Indeed. And by the way, Michael, while I have you, side note, yes, I know you've been asking me, begging me actually, to write an article for Kaiju Ramen for like over a year now. I'm working on it. Don't worry, it's coming. Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, Kaiju Ramen and writing stuff. That's fun. It's fun stuff.
It is.
You've also done work for Sci-Fi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So before Kaiju Ramen, and this is actually what I did for Sci-Fi is what I'm I'm not happy. I'm trying to think of how to articulate this. So Sci-Fi doesn't have the best of uh rep because of its articles being a little clickbaity with their titles. Um Before that really became an issue with me when I was just starting out, David Marshall of the now no longer running podcast, The Kaiju Apostle, wrote an article for them. And when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, I could write an article. And I could get it published maybe. So I wrote this article. It was a review on the Criterion Godzilla set. And anybody who's known me for a while knows how much I can't stand that box set. It's great for people who need access uh to the films, but it uh is not the definitive set it should be. So I wrote this like 8,000 word review. I went in from the history of the copyright and like the production of the set to the set itself, and I messaged G-Man on Twitter. Or no, I messaged Kaiju News Outlet because I'd seen they worked with Sci-Fi. And Jake sent me to G-Man, and G-Man was like, "Yeah, we'll publish it." And then I got involved in a group chat, and it was all the writers of Sci-Fi. G-Man was in there, Jake was in there, a few others. And so for the next few months, I wrote an article on they wrote an article. I wrote an article on the Sony copyright loss of Godzilla versus King Ghidorah and Godzilla versus Mothra, because nobody reports stuff like that. I was like, I know it. Sony lost the rights to them. You better buy the Blu-rays now because now they're like $300.
Mm-hmm.
They're now in the same realm as
Yeah, Doom's at least it's still available, unlike Arrow's Gamera set. Screw you, scalpers.
yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Oy vey.
But their box set didn't come with issues storing discs. I will say that. I can go back and forth on those two all day. I actually did a stream with Nathan, the first episode of MIFV Max, which is available on YouTube, to talk about the Criterion set and the Arrow set, which is better, which is worse. That's very informative. That goes into it pretty detailed. But as back to what I was saying before I went on that little tangent. So I wrote about Godzilla and Ghidorah, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, Godzilla versus Mothra losing the rights, and then I also wrote an article called Gamera: A History on Home Video, which was right before the box set came out. And I don't want to say it's my favorite article I've ever written, but it's up there because it's my comfort zone. I love physical media. Um, I uh sorry, my brain just died.
Words
Uh
are hard. I understand.
I wrote the whole history of the US home media releases of Gamera, including like canceled laser discs and whatnot. Um I love that article, and it actually got recognition from James Flower, the producer of the Gamera Arrow video set. Um And then after that, Kaiju Ramen started. I started writing for them. I write for their website too, Kaiju Ramen Media. I've done an article on the upcoming film President Tanuki, a film from Minoru Kawasaki, who did Monster Seafood Wars, Executive Koala, The World Sinks Except Japan, and Monster X Strikes Back, Attack the G8 Summit. I wrote articles for what's coming in 2022 for Kaiju. I should probably do one of those for 2023. I haven't started it yet, but I'm going to do that too. Um, so, uh, I wrote for Sci-Fi, and that got me into the group chat, which got me friends in the community, and then we went and did our own group chat. Um, and I would say sci-fi was actually where I first learned to love the fandom, because before that I hadn't interacted or done anything, and it gave me uh, a gateway into that, even though they have made some mistakes with how they should do their publishing and their whatnot. But I always will have a spot in my heart for sci-fi for uh, getting me into my friend group, which eventually led me to meeting you and Michael and Travis and Nathan and Matt and everybody else. And I would not take that back for anything. So
That is amazing. You have done some pretty awesome stuff for a 12-year-old, so I'm very impressed.
yeah.
I mean, I see great things happening for you in your future when you finally become of age. Yes. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we've had a really good conversation, I think so. Um you got anything else in the works besides that super top secret thing you got going on? Anything you
um
can share?
well, I guess I haven't mentioned probably the coolest thing I've done. um I mean, everything's been cool, but I am in a movie, actually.
Oh.
Um, do you know what movie this is, or is this one thing you didn't
I
find?
think you did mention the movie. And when we were talking over Twitter, I think it was just a cameo. Was it a cameo? I heard,
Yes,
and
yes,
then Zillafoot.
yes. I have with me the VHS copy and the Blu-ray copy. I got to appear in Zillafoot. It's a film. It's a movie.
It's certainly a film. It's certainly a
Um,
movie.
by Anthony Polonia, who his family does a lot of like Shark of the Corn or like bad CGI sharks. They do a lot of really awful on purpose films. And I saw a casting call and I reached out to Ron Bonk of SRS Cinema and I was like, I'm interested. And then a few weeks later, I got hooked up with John Milgore, who played the ape in Conga TNT. Uh, and we made a short scene for the film. We might have appeared again, but we didn't have time to do that. I'm actually filming. There's no way I can prove it. I mean, maybe this dresser. I'm filming in the set of that scene in Zillafoot. So we're on technically a movie set right now, if we want to be over dramatic.
Okay. Ooh.
um, so I did do that. That was a lot of fun. Um, it's a movie.
It is a
I
movie.
It got me an IMDb page.
There you go.
Uh, and I'm credited as a assisted additional director I'm credited as.
Oh, okay.
So I did do that. And then, I also was the assistant director on a production of Little Shop of Horrors. So I've done a little kaiju work that's been more than just me and my in the my backyard doing whatever I'm doing.
And hey, he's been in more kaiju films than us, Michael, so far. Yeah, and technically, one of my short films that will never see the light of day was kind of a kaiju film, but not really. So I've also been in more kaiju films than Nathan and Michael. So ha!
That's rough.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, so that about wraps up our discussion. But before we head on out of here, why don't you share with the lovely people in the audience where they could find you, your podcast, your work, all that fun stuff?
Okay. So if you want to watch the Quasar stuff in my YouTube career that I don't think I'm ever going to go back to, you can find that at ET13 Productions on YouTube. My other short films aren't on there. It's on my secret account that Kim has found. So if you want to go digging for those, I told you the titles here, so you can try and find those. I challenge you to if you want to. You can find my main Twitter at ET13 Productions. That's where I post most of my stuff. And then you can find my toy photography, which we didn't mention, but I've dabbled in some toy photography as well, on Instagram at ET13 Productions. Besides that, you can find my podcast on any podcasting platform, Kaiju Conversation. If you want to give us a follow on Twitter, it's at KAIJU_CONVERS. We're on Instagram at Kaiju Conversation, on Facebook, Kaiju Conversation. YouTube, we have a YouTube channel, Kaiju Conversation. Actually, on there is my interview where I got to interview the designer of Mechagodzilla for Ready Player One and Godzilla vs. Kong, which was really exciting. And then, let's see, do I have any other social medias? I don't think I do. I mean, my personal stuff, if you find it, if you want to follow me, go for it.
Great.
I don't know why. It's all in the mind of me, which is kind of a weirdo. So
I'm a weirdo too, and I have quite a few followers. So people like weird stuff. That's why there wouldn't be a Godzilla fandom if there weren't people who didn't like weird stuff. You know what I mean?
That is absolutely true. Everybody who knows me in real life, like when they slowly find out what I watch, they all think I'm like crazy because one of my favorite movies is Tetsuo the Iron Man, and my best friend, after watching it, said, "What did I just watch? What was this?" And I said, "Peak
Friendship
cinema."
over.
Well, he's going to see Godzilla against Mechagodzilla with me, so we'll see how that goes. It'll be his first Godzilla movie. So.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we can convert him.
I mean, he does like the third Fast and the Furious movie. He mainly watches stuff like Rush Hour and Bad Boys. So I don't know if that's his genre, but if we can convert him, I'm all for it.
All right. Yeah, you keep us updated on that. I know everyone's welcome into the Godzilla fandom. But for now, thank you so much for coming onto my show, Elijah. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. First official live stream.
Indeed. And to you watching at home, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with me and my fantastic guest. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like the stream if you had a good time here tonight. And be sure to tune in next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.